holiday weekend like this, many times the Monday after the holiday is a very slow day. It's a very low participation day, a low volume day. And the real move of the week doesn't begin until 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning. And so, the next 45 minutes, we're going to identify a couple of key, really trends here that would suggest whether we're going to get a continuation or a trend change here from the perspective of our the long setups and the VIX short setups that are still technically in play. As we go into the 10 o'clock time frame, there's not necessarily a news event. We do have TIPS economic optimism reports numbers. That's tentative. And then everything else, there's not really a big news event until we get into tomorrow, Wednesday, which is the 2 p.m. FOMC meeting minutes. But something I want to touch on here is what happened in Sintra, Portugal, over the holiday weekend. And Warsh, Lagarde, Bailey, I believe the Bank of Canada chair was also there. They essentially got around. It's kind of like that moment in January 6th of 2019, where it was Bernanke, Yellen, and Powell. They all got together and essentially said that forward guidance was dead. That forward guidance was dead. And that's incredible. Lagarde had said in that panel that the worst mistake, her worst regret, was letting the forward guidance go on so long because the markets had come to expect it. It's not just the Federal Reserve, but all of the central banks of the world are changing their reaction function. They're changing how they communicate data. Actually, what they have told us is that they're not going to communicate data at all. Warsh was asked about the July meeting, and he said nothing. He didn't lean anyway. He didn't go into Central Portugal, softening his rhetoric at all about just no data. Not only are they changing, they're taking away the dot plot, but they are changing the inputs. Warsh even said that the data coming into the Fed was being rewritten. So they're changing the inputs because they don't trust the outputs. And then they're not going to give us forward guidance. He also said that something should stop everyone cold. He said that there was a good family fight going on inside of the Federal Reserve. That means that they can't even decide whether they need a framework or not. And that's why I wanted to mention this here before going into the open, because that is a huge revelation. That means that everything that Wall Street has used to price the broad markets changes. Everything changes. And we're not going to have the I believe there are now 5 different task forces that Warsh has created to give them new data to help them make new decisions about whether a framework even exists or not. All that we know is that we don't have the old one. So I want to keep that in mind as we're, essentially screen. This stream continues at eminiaddict.com. The link is in the description. Join me there for tools and resources for learning measured move trading. I wrote the book on the measured move. Check out the hundreds of others that have learned trading plan development, pattern recognition, money management, and trading discipline with me to become the best, most confident trader that you can be.